All right, buckle up for a deep dive into a story that's, well, as precise as a Swiss watch. We're going deep into the origin of Rolex.
Not just the watches themselves, though.
Exactly, the mind behind them. Picture this. Germany, 1893. A 12-year-old boy, orphaned, future uncertain.
Hans Wilsdorf, the man who'd build Rolex.
It's a story of resilience, turning setbacks into, well, wins.
Absolutely. Not just luxury and success, but real grit.
It's hard to imagine losing both parents so young. Family business sold, off to boarding school.
Tough start, no doubt, but there's almost a silver lining there.
Oh, how so?
At school, he meets a Swiss boy. This friend introduces him to watchmaking.
Wow, a chance meeting, and it sparks this lifelong passion.
It really does. And Hans, he dives right in. At 19, leaves Germany for Switzerland, the heart of watchmaking, right?
So going all in.
Gets a job, meticulously checking pocket watch accuracy, hundreds of them every day.
Talk about an intense apprenticeship.
Honing his skills, understanding the industry deeply.
But then on his way to London, bam, setback.
His inheritance stolen.
Could have crushed anyone.
But not Hans. He finds work, another watchmaking firm, but this time, sales and marketing.
Interesting shift.
Pivotal, really. Not just learning watches, learning people.
The customer.
He noticed companies were making these overly fancy watches.
Complicated.
Yeah. But customers, they wanted simple, accurate, durable, elegant.
He spotted a gap, a need.
And at 24, he co-founds his own company, Wilsdorf and Davis. Bold move.
Their first product, was it a wristwatch?
Not yet, a pocket watch. The Portfolio, aimed at travelers. Compact, durable, practical.
Success right out the gate.
Showed he understood what people wanted.
But he had this vision, almost prophetic, about wristwatches.
The future, he thought.
Bold, considering they were seen as, well, feminine back then.
Overcoming that wasn't easy. But he was a marketing whiz. He designed sleek wristwatches, silver, gold, with bracelet-like straps. Marketed them as bracelet watches, appealing to everyone in Britain.
Brilliant adaptation. But the brand name, how did Rolex come about?
He was meticulous about that name. Wanted it short, elegant, easy to pronounce anywhere.
Universal.
Exactly, and it had to look good on a watch face. After tons of trying, Rolex was born.
Iconic. Trademarked in 1908. The journey begins.
But Hans, he wasn't just about branding. He was obsessed with accuracy. Existing movements, not good enough.
So he gets even deeper into horology.
Collaborates with experts, developed his own movement, the 15-line caliber 200, high quality.
He wasn't just a businessman, but a craftsman at heart.
This movement, it became the first wristwatch movement to get a chronometer certificate.
Meaning?
Officially recognized for exceptional accuracy. A big deal, set a new standard.
Triumph. But then, World War I. How did a luxury brand handle that?
Tough times. Britain slapped heavy export duties on watches. Sales plummeted.
Yeah.
Hans had to make a choice. He moved the whole company to Switzerland, started over.
Talk about resilience.
Yeah.
Rebuilding during a war.
But amidst chaos, there's opportunity. He saw soldiers relying more and more on wristwatches.
Makes sense. Fumbling for a pocket watch in the trenches. Not ideal.
So Rolex designs these trench watches. Sturdy, luminous hands for low light. A hit.
Reputation for durability grew even stronger. He had this knack, didn't he, for finding opportunity where others saw problems.
He did. But even with wristwatches booming, he spotted another flaw. They were vulnerable.
Cool what?
Dust, water, damaged the accuracy, shortened their lifespan.
Right.
His goal.
Yeah.
A watch case so tightly sealed, nothing got in. Ambitious.
This is where things get really innovative, isn't it? The Oyster case.
Inspired by, of all things, an oyster. Just like the shell protects the pearl, the case would protect the movement.
Ingenious. How'd he pull it off?
Screw-on mechanism, rubber rings for sealing, a winding crown like a submarine hatch, everything locked tight.
1926, the Rolex Oyster. The world's first truly waterproof wristwatch. Game changer.
But they needed to get the word out. This was groundbreaking.
A marketing challenge worthy of the invention itself. What'd they do?
Hans, he understood people. Knew he needed a grand gesture. Something to prove the oyster was the real deal.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here. What was it?
He heard about Mercedes Gleitz.
Who's that?
Young English swimmer attempting to cross the English Channel. A perfect test for the oyster, he thought.
Bold move, betting your brand on that.
The swim, sadly, wasn't successful, pulled out due to exhaustion.
Oh no. But the watch.
Perfect working order. It had been in the frigid water for hours. Proof.
What a story. So the watch stole the show, even if the swim failed.
They ran with it. Put the watch in fish tanks, live fish, in their store displays, even hired a famous actress for ads, her in a fish tank wearing the Oyster.
Turned a potential setback into a win. But Hans, always innovating. What was next?
He saw another issue. Manually winding a waterproof watch. Inconvenient. Risked the seal.
I see.
So he aimed for a fully automatic watch. The result, the perpetual rotor.
Okay, I gotta ask, what is that exactly?
Imagine a tiny windmill inside the watch, powered by your movement.
It winds itself.
As you move your wrist, this rotor spins, winding the mainspring. No more manual winding.
Brilliant. 1931, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual.
Became a sensation. Rolex, the leader in automatic watches. Revolutionary.
What a legacy. Overcoming challenges, achieving the seemingly impossible.
But there's more to come, right? We've only just begun exploring this journey.
And what a journey it is. We've got more to uncover in our Rolex deep dive. Stay tuned.
Hans's vision, his tenacity, it's incredible how Rolex reached such heights, even with all the global upheaval going on. But as we move into the next part of Rolex's story, another world-changing event. World War II.
Another huge disruption. How did a luxury brand like Rolex handle that? Did it slow them down?
World War II brought immense challenges, of course, but it also kind of fueled some key innovations. The demand for reliable watches, especially among the military, it skyrocketed.
So they had to adapt.
Exactly. It focused on robustness, functionality, performing under pressure, literally.
The war, in a way, pushed them to be even better.
You could say that. Necessity breeds innovation, right? One big advancement. Anti-magnetic features in their movements.
Interesting. Why was that important?
Pilots, navigators, they relied on precise timekeeping. But those strong magnetic fields from aircraft instruments could mess with a watch's accuracy.
Makes sense. Had to keep up with the times, literally. But did this focus on function mean sacrificing style?
Not at all. Rolex never compromised on both form and function. In fact, this period saw one of their most iconic designs come to life.
Oh, which one?
The date just.
Ah, the date just. Timeless. Elegant. What made it so revolutionary?
Launched in '45. To celebrate Rolex's 40th anniversary, actually, it was the first automatic, waterproof wristwatch with a date display. Practical and sophisticated, a whole new standard for luxury watches.
Quite a milestone. It really does embody those core values. Precision, durability, and timeless style. But was it an immediate hit?
Groundbreaking, yes. But like any new thing, it had some, well, growing pains. Early versions, the date window was small.
Hard to read.
Some customers thought so.
So even Rolex, with their attention to detail, had to adapt to feedback.
Always listening to their customers, they addressed it by adding the Cyclops lens.
Ah, that magnifying lens over the date. Makes sense.
A small detail, but it made a big difference. Enhanced readability became a signature feature.
Those little things, right. It shows they were innovators, but also good listeners. What else was happening for Rolex in this post-war era? Still pushing boundaries.
Absolutely. They started venturing into specialized watches, designed for specific professions, activities. This is when some of their most legendary models were born.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What kind of specialized watches are we talking about?
Well, in 1953, they launched the Explorer.
The Explorer, I've heard of that.
Built for mountaineers, adventurers, tough, highly legible, durable case, accurate movement, a black dial with those luminous markers.
For visibility in low light, I'm guessing.
Exactly. More than a timepiece, a tool, a companion for pushing limits.
Amazing. What other professions did they have in mind?
2 years later, the GMT Master, 1955.
The GMT Master. What was special about that one?
Designed for pilots, international travelers, it had a rotating bezel. You could track multiple time zones at once. Perfect for globetrotters.
A watch for the jet set. So they were really catering to these specific niches. Shows how well they understood their customers' needs, their aspirations even. Did this mean they moved away from those classic designs?
Not at all. They kept refining the classics, the date just, the Oyster Perpetual, new variations, materials, complications, expanding their portfolio while staying true to their roots.
Striking that balance, right? Heritage and innovation. It seems Rolex nailed it. But I'm curious about Hans himself. He'd achieved so much, overcome so much. What was driving him? What was his personal life like during this time?
Well, alongside all the triumphs, there was tragedy too. In 1944, Hans's wife passed away.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. How did he cope with such a loss while leading a company through a world war?
It really shows his strength of character. He channeled his grief into his work, ensuring Rolex not only survived, but thrived. He believed in his company, in its mission, wanted to leave a lasting legacy.
What an inspiring story.
Yeah.
Loss, conflict, upheaval, he never wavered. It reminds you of the power of purpose, finding something bigger than yourself to focus on.
Exactly. Even in the face of adversity, there's always room for innovation, growth, striving for excellence. That's what Hans Wilsdorf embodied.
We've covered a lot of ground here. World wars, inventions, personal stories. What else is there to uncover in this Rolex journey?
We've explored the surface, but there's still a deeper dive ahead. Literally. We'll explore Rolex's ventures into the depths of the ocean, their relentless pursuit of precision, and their enduring legacy in the world of luxury watches.
I'm ready to plunge in. We've gone through wars, seen those groundbreaking inventions, even dived into Hans Wilsdorf's personal life, the highs and lows. But our Rolex deep dive, it isn't over yet.
We've barely scratched the surface. As Rolex moved into the later 20th century, they didn't just sit back, they kept pushing, going into uncharted territory. Literally.
Uncharted territory. Did they start making space watches or something?
Not space, but close. Remember the Oyster case? Made Rolex waterproof? Well, Hans wasn't content with just the surface. He set his sights deeper. The ocean.
So this is where deep dive gets really deep. Why the fascination with underwater exploration?
It was a challenge. The ocean depths, all that pressure, darkness, salt water. The ultimate test for a watch. For durability, for precision.
So he saw it as a way to push the limits of what a watch could do.
Exactly. It led to the Rolex Deep Sea Special, an experimental watch built to withstand the crushing pressure of the deepest ocean trenches.
This sounds like something out of a movie. The Deep Sea Special. How do they even test it?
1960. They attached it to the Bathyscaphe Trieste, a submersible designed to explore the deepest parts of the ocean.
Wait, they sent it to the CD.
Challenger Deep, Mariana Trench, deepest point on Earth.
An experimental watch to the deepest point on Earth. Talk about a high-pressure situation. Did it? Did it make it?
It didn't just make it, it thrived. Came back up, perfect working order, had withstood over 16,000 pounds per square inch of pressure.
That's unbelievable. It's like they were saying we can conquer anything, even the ocean depths. What a statement about Rolex's engineering.
It was more than just a watch, it was a symbol of human ingenuity overcoming the impossible. The Deep Sea Special solidified Rolex as the leader in watchmaking tech, a company that wasn't afraid to explore.
What a legacy. But this triumph, it happened alongside a sad moment, right?
The same year, 1960, Hans Wilsdorf passed away, age 79. He left behind an incredible legacy. From an orphan facing hardship to the creator of one of the most iconic brands, it's a story of resilience, passion, and always striving for the best.
What a journey. It's amazing how one person's vision can shape an entire industry. But even though Hans is gone, his spirit lives on in Rolex, doesn't it? What's their place in the world today?
Rolex today, still a symbol of precision, quality, that timeless elegance. Their watches are more than just timepieces. They're investments, status symbols, heirlooms even.
They've stayed relevant for over a century. How have they done it? Especially with all the new technology, changing tastes.
While other brands went digital, smartwatches and all that, Rolex stuck to their guns. Traditional watchmaking. They see their watches as mechanical marvels, precision instruments that last.
So they're not against evolving, but they're doing it their way.
They innovate within their own world, refining movements, new materials, pushing the boundaries of what a mechanical watch can be.
They understand that real luxury isn't about chasing trends, it's about creating something timeless.
Exactly. Rolex has built an image, carefully. Excellence, achievement, lasting value. Their watches are more than just watches. They're symbols of success, milestones.
It's like they're selling a piece of history, a connection to craftsmanship, precision, and that never goes out of style.
Well said. From a small workshop to the depths of the ocean, Rolex's story is amazing. Human ingenuity, striving for the best, the enduring appeal of a well-made watch.
What a deep dive. We've covered it all, the history, the innovations, the ups and downs. Rolex, a brand that still fascinates. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the best stories are told by the ticking of a watch.